Hello, 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 my beautiful people. It's your girl Riri Okoye, sending you so much love today. And on today's episode, I am going to be talking about coping well with lessons learned. Now, I've just recently come back from a workshop, and the workshop was Confidence for High Performance. And if anyone knows, confidence is a topic that is at the top of my heart, just because in another life, I was the founder of a movement called Raising Confident Girls, and it was around for 8 years, and we had so much conversations about confidence. I've also done lots of workshops, both in London and Lagos, the Confidence Revolution, so we did that before COVID. So confidence is something that really tickles me and I'm passionate about. So something really struck out in that workshop, and I wanted to share that information with you today, just some pointers from it. And the topic was called Coping Well with Failure. And I'm not here to talk about failure because failure is not part of my vocabulary, sorry to say. Over 10 years ago, I decided to remove that word failure because I'm intentional about what I say to myself. So rather than saying coping with failure, I say coping with lessons learned. Anyway, stay with me. I'm just going to run through some of the points, and I hope that you will embrace some of the information that I'm going to share, starting with number one. And number one is all about embracing a growth mindset. You've heard the saying, the cup is either half full or half empty. So when you go through these lessons learned, what is your mindset? Are you thinking about all the worst possible scenarios? Or are you thinking about the possibilities, And again, possibilities is something that I have learned in the last 15 years of my life. And that is what I think about when I go through challenges now. It's like, what are the possibilities? What are the opportunities? What is next for me? And that is something that you can do too when you embrace a positive and growth mindset. The next thing, and it's really important, and my sister, Dr. Nina, has said this to me a few times when we've had conversations, you've got to accept and acknowledge your emotions. So if you're feeling sad, be sad. If you're feeling angry, be angry. And as a happiness coach, I know that, my audience is not always going to be happy, and life is not always going to be ha, 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 and he. And a friend of mine actually said to me recently, she said to me, Rita, I noticed that you were not your normal bubbly happiness coach self, And I was like, really? But it's important to embrace all sorts of emotions. But where I come from as a happiness coach is that even if you're feeling sad, even if you're feeling upset, I don't want you to stay there. I want you to be able to bounce back just the way I bounce back from life's challenges. Now, the next thing is to learn from your experiences. So can I be honest with you? A lot of the times, the writing is on the wall, isn't it? When we're going through a lot of these lessons learned, the writing is on the wall. It's saying to us, Riri, look, this thing is happening to you. But what are we doing? We're just going through life as normal. And you're like, I got this. And then boom, something happens. But the writing has been on the wall. Ouch. Does anybody else feel that way? But don't beat yourself up. I'm not saying to you to beat yourself up. I'm saying learn from the experience. Because one thing I found in life, and I found it probably in my 20s, was that if you don't learn from the lessons, you're going to keep getting those same lessons in different forms until you learn the lesson. So learn from your lessons. Now, it's so important to focus on the positive. And a friend of mine was asking me that recently. She was like, Riri, are you okay? Are you really okay? Because I focus on the positives. I'm not saying that I stay in a place of, as I just said before, it's not always about ha, ha, he, but it's that mindset thing. It comes back to that mindset thing. What are you going to be focusing on? And there's that thing about the law of attraction that I learned a long time ago. So I focus on what I want, So if I want good things to happen to me, I'm going to be focusing on those good things. I don't want those bad things to happen to me. I don't want to be thinking I'm not going to be thinking about negative things, okay? I am only going to be focusing on the positive, all right? Now, another thing that's important is that you've got to practice self-compassion. And remember, this morning on my Facebook page, I said something along those lines about self-compassion, and it's important. I went and got myself a facial today, I just went to a place in Palmer's Green called Swiss. Shout out to Lisa, and I felt pampered, the room was lovely, smelled good, there was candles, I lay down, she did my face, she put all sorts of things on it, and I came out of there and I just felt like I had taken care of myself. So when you're going through these life lessons, these are some of the things that you need to do. Now, it's really important when you're going through life lessons to seek support. People are going through all sorts of things right now. I've got friends that are going through all sorts of things, and even myself, we're all going through all sorts of things, and it's important to seek support. Seek support from your family. Seek support from your friends, and they love you and they want the best for you, and they're going to be asking you that question. Are you okay? And they're asking you because they really love you, they really do. But sometimes there's a point where friends and family are just not going to hit it for you. And maybe you're going to need professional care. Maybe you're going to need a counselor. Maybe you're going to need therapy. And it's okay. This is all part of taking care of yourself. Do your research and seek support professionally if you need it. There is just nothing wrong with that at all. Another thing that you've got to do is set realistic expectations, Acknowledge all the things that I've said before and just give yourself, sometimes you actually do have to give yourself time. Time heals wounds, pains, anger, and all of that bad stuff, So you've got to set, realistic expectations. If you've gone through, whatever you've gone through, you can't just expect that tomorrow you're just going to be bouncing up and walking around the world like, yeah, I got this. Because if you do that, you might just suddenly wake up and just break down just because you haven't set those realistic expectations, okay? Now, what else? Think about failure or lessons learned as feedback. And feedback is not always the truth. People have their views, people have their opinions, and it's feedback. So don't beat yourself up again. Just see it as, okay, this person has done this and this is their view of the life, but it doesn't have to be my view of the life, and just take it as what it is. It's just feedback, but don't beat yourself up because of it. Now, another thing that is so important, and I remember a friend of mine who is so into vision, she's a visionary and she's always thinking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I just think, why is she thinking so long term, And it's important. And even when you're going through these things, I'm not saying that you should look about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You can even look about 1 month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and just take it look at it far and just see yourself coming out of the situation that you're in and bouncing back and smiling and loving life again and just getting your mojo back and all of that kind of thing. And, and then sometimes you may even put pictures in your room or in your office about how life will be for you, and just dream and close your eyes and just imagine that the whole stress that you're going through is over, and those kind of things really will help you because you're focusing on the positive, you're focusing on the future, you're focusing on your life being better than where it is right now. So sometimes you've got to just do that, have a vision for your life. Now, the last thing that I want to say, and this is something that I do, it's just, people around me know that, and they're like, man, Riri, she's in that state right now. And that state that I'm in is where I take massive action, I'm under pressure, things are happening, I don't stand still. I'm like, okay, I feel as if I'm in a boxing match, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give you that, and I just go out there and I just become more resilient and more strong, and I start, it's almost as if I'm marching and I'm just like, really up and down and just taking massive action. And when I do that, oh my God, things start to happen that is like, wow, and people start to say, wow, why is all this happening to Riri? It's because Riri is taking massive action. I don't stop still when when challenges come. I just get out there and I'm like, take massive action. All right. So that's something that you may want to do. I mean, it's not for everyone, but it's definitely something that I do when life is throwing me lemons. I turn them into lemonade. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I hope that this has been useful, and this is very interactive. So if you have gone through life's challenges, lessons learned, why don't you share in the chat and just, share what your perspective, and you never know, somebody else may learn from you too. But if this has been useful for you, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comment section, so that I know that I'm not talking to myself, and at least one person is going to go away with some of these pointers and turn around and come back to me either next week or whenever and say, that information that you shared with me really transformed my life, and things are moving in the right direction for me because I took the tools and I took action, and life is going to get better. Anyway, that's my hope for you. Once again, my name is Riri Okoye, your happiness coach, and I look forward to sharing valuable, transformational life lessons with you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.